My name is Isabelle Ska, registered massage therapist for over 16 years now, as well as intuitive energy practitioner. This is just a short introduction for the video that is coming up, where we briefly talk about light language, and we also talk about remote session. Just to give a tiny bit of a precision, in my case, when it comes to remote session, they are done mainly, I would say 90% of the remote session itself is done using light language. If ever you're curious about the full conversation that I had with former colleague of mine, Marian Sears-Carter, a physiotherapist, where we also talk about CranioSacral Therapy, Myofascial release, and so much more, you'll be able to find the link in the description of this video. Without further waiting, here's the segment on light language and remote session. You're a little bit more open to try, more, then of course, I'll be using different modality, and I might even, use also light language. What is this? Well, it's to the best description, I would say, just think about it as sound vibration.
Right. Yeah.
I think this is the best way. It's your essence. It's your soul essence light language. But just, I would say, without going into just, it's a sound vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And the body, if we just think about, when we listen to our favorite music, how to respond to it, it's so, and people, and if we, when we get there, I find that it's even more effective because it's sort of like bypass the mental, and it really, your body opens up and shows. So that is, if you want to try, but yeah.
No, I was just gonna jump in and say that when you have done remote sessions with me, now that you've moved and you've done light language, it's almost like it's another level of soothingness. Like your body is happy, it's having whatever treatment you're doing. And then this auditory light language, as you say, sound vibration, it's creating just it's almost like another part of your brain is being soothed and calmed, right? Yeah, even though you may not be touching anything, it's just, it's a very powerful addition, I would say, because because
it's
cool. But it's just like another sense is engaged, right? I mean, normally your ears would not be engaged in a treatment unless you're talking, but now suddenly your ears are engaged in this very different modality. Is fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I was actually reading long ago. There was this person that been, he's a researcher, and he's been doing a lot of sound healing.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he was talking about different modality, but he was saying that actually human voice is not the highest sound vibration that you can have. So, which was very fascinating because yes, there's all those different ways with bowls, and I don't do that, but just to give example of sound,
tuning forks.
Yes. And all those, what I can't remember what the name of those, those big sphere.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't know. Yes, a gong.
So those are different kind of vibration, but
which go right into your body.
Yes.
When someone does that around you, especially those bowls, you feel it in your physical body. So sound is very much a modality for sure to affect the change in the body. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't use those things, but I use my voice.
Use your voice, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. and you actually, you started talking about it, and as far as remote sessions. So that's yeah, I've been starting to do that about a year ago.
People have a lot of questions about this, right? I feel like that's really? Can that work remotely? So yeah, talk a little bit about that because I feel like that's a big question for people.
Yeah,
Yeah, they understand if you put your hands on, obviously you're getting a treatment, but Zoom
yeah,
phone call, how does that work? Yeah,
exactly. Okay. And hey, even me, like I'm sure like even 10 years ago, somebody would have told me that and I was like, what?
right. You would have been skeptical. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And listen, I could give different possibility of how it works. Because of course, there's when it comes down also to energy, but there's part of it could be related to our electromagnetic field,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
our personal electromagnetic field, and that's the thing. The body itself has different, even organs will have different kind of electromagnetic field. And interestingly enough, is that your art actually is actually more. Uh, the field is bigger than actually your brain.
The brain.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's bigger. Your
Yeah.
heart is bigger. And they had feeling, and I was looking on. There was this documentary also in Gaia. I mean, they were saying, yeah, they were actually measuring it. That the electrical field, magnetic field of the Earth is actually you can feel it actually a couple of feet away from the body.
Beyond the body. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Versus the mind, the brain, it's more closer to the head.
Yeah.
To say, so that could be, but when it comes to that could be some explanation, but then you say, okay, but if they were like, miles away, how do you
Yeah.
explain that?
Exactly.
And so is there the interaction also as us then with the earth that also has an electromagnetic field that's connecting. And then, there's a pineal gland that, it's been described as our little Wi-Fi. So exactly. So is there that too that is a part of it? Because Reiki, people doing Reiki, they've been doing it for, years and years and years remotely,
Yeah.
either on the phone or, or
Yeah.
just taking an appointment and saying, okay, at that time, if I'm going to be working on you or what. So
Yeah.
there's that. And then I would say, I would add to this, like, how do we explain, how a mother, how many times have we heard, mothers saying, they could feel exactly what their children were,
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
was going on with their child, if there was something happening, if there was
Yeah.
they knew
They
that
knew.
they
Mm-hmm.
knew
Mm-hmm.
exactly they were like miles away or even in a different country.
Across the world. Yeah.
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
also, even another documentary that, it was, there's still, what's interesting is that there's a lot of research
A lot.
actually as far as the benefit that they can see or measure,
Yeah.
the benefit of distant healing.
Mm-hmm.
It has not really went into the mainstream, but the thing mostly is, yes, they can measure the effect, but I
Mm-hmm.
think why it's still not in the mainstream is because they have difficulty explaining the how.
Right. Exactly.
So
People like explanations.
yes, but
Yeah.
it's not because, hey, I'm sure one day they will
Well,
find.
I feel they're already working on it. I mean,
Yes.
that's what quantum physics is. If you can grasp the concept that there is no space and that we have constructed this business of time, then you understand that stuff is not local. Energy is immediate. I mean, that quantum physics thing where, well, I think that's entered the mainstream where, a particle is either a wave or a particle, depending on the interaction of the person looking at it. So we do understand in a way that, this time and space are not really they're not really interrupting what we're doing. We live in that world, so we think, oh well, everything has to be this. but we don't. I mean, you think of all those intention experiments they've done, that woman Taggart, people influencing things at a huge distance, right? And they've done these experiments over and over again. It's clear that it's working, and it's got nothing to do with how we run time and space. So it's coming into the mainstream, but the
Yes.
bottom line is it works. We just we haven't, our human brains have not grasped the full explanation for it. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can't put it in a way that makes complete sense because these are things that we don't understand very well so far. Yeah.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
it's the how that have not,
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
haven't got the whole, they, have little bits of possibility of
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
as I was describing there and how you were describing it, as far as time and space that doesn't exist or
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah. Bottom line, as you're saying, it works.
Yeah.
And
Right.
another little example that maybe more, how do you explain also, because I think everybody have that happen to them, once in their life, that you think of somebody
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you get a phone call or you get a text from them
Yep.
as you were thinking of them.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
do you explain that?
Yeah. Or sometimes the phone is ringing and you know who it is, and it's not someone normal like your sister. It's, but somehow you just say, oh my God, that's so and so who lives maybe in another city. I don't know why they're calling me, but I know it's them. And you pick up the phone, you're like, oh my God, I knew it was you. Right? So exactly, we do that all the time. And then we think, oh, well, it's just coincidence.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
But bottom line, yes, it
Yeah.
works and it's
Yeah.
quick because my
Yeah.
session, like
It's
online,
quick. Yeah. And as you said before, very efficient. I
very
mean,
efficient.
yeah, I do remote work. You do Zoom. I just do remote work where I fix the time with the person. Okay, you're gonna lie down, relax at 1 o'clock, and I'm gonna I'm gonna work. And yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, when I first played with it many, many years ago, but now I feel so. I mean, I can see the body there. I can see the problems. It's almost like I'm arcing, but remote. And then I'm working on it. But in 3D, when you have your hands on someone, it takes a lot longer to work through something. Whereas when you're working remotely, boom, 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 it's happening, right? And then bottom line is, after I do a remote session, since I don't talk to the person, I send a full report at the end. We started with this, we worked here, then we did this, then blah, 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 blah. I give them the whole thing. And then I ask for their feedback. I mean, they may as well have been in person because everything has been achieved. That yeah, I felt this, I felt that, and then this made, it's literally like a live session. And meanwhile, they're on the other side of town. Or sometimes I've treated people in Vancouver. Well, Ontario and Ottawa and Vancouver are very far apart. Same thing. You can, as the therapist, you can see, you can sense, and you can treat, right? And they get the effect.
And
Perfect.
and the body's not in the way, which is
The body, yes.
because that's what you're it's sometimes I've been like, okay, well, you're working physically and of course, there's some way, let's say, for example, you have to work on, under the scap, there's trying to get there, not an easy task, trying to get there.
Yes, exactly.
And, you get to a certain degree, but, you still feel that it's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've worked sometime, that's the thing, on remotely where, oh, okay, this is where I am right now. And just
Yeah, the body is not,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
living. So you
doesn't
can
matter.
work where
Yeah,
it needs to be work.
exactly.
And I've settled them in a way that it's, it's like their 30-minute session, but in that 30 minute, we talk a little bit to see, okay, more to give, a little bit like, when you're coming in person, I'll take an intake
Of course, yeah.
form. Well, it's not, yeah,
Yeah,
of course, it's not the same thing. And of course, I'm not going to give you any, massage therapy invoice for that because it's remotely, if, if we're doing remotely.
no, of course,
But
yeah.
the same thing as we'll have a little bit of a discussion to say, okay, what's going, but it's more, how should I say, it's more just so we can reflect on it
Yes,
afterward. Okay,
exactly.
because you may be telling me this, and same thing in person. You may be telling me that this is what you're feeling.
Hmm.
Maybe your body's going to show me something different. And maybe
Yes,
the thing is that
yes,
the origin of the problem is not necessarily where you're telling me.
exactly.
It's elsewhere.
Exactly.
So by working, so I get this feedback, yes, like when we're remotely having a little bit more feedback at the beginning, and then we reflect on it afterward. But it's so quick as
Hmm.
it's usually less, seriously, it can last around 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Well,
and
I've had a few sessions with you, and yeah, they're usually somewhere. Of course, we get chatting after the session. That takes a while. But the session itself is, and I mean, I can say as someone who's experienced your remote sessions, they are phenomenal. And you're in that, when you have a live session and you come out, you're kind of you're kind of dopey, you'd like to lie down for a bit. It's the exact same feeling. After a remote session, you're a little bit okay, you're like, okay, I need to lie down for a little bit. So how do you explain that? Right? You feel exactly the same as if you had a remote session, a live session. Your body is just like processing, you're in that soft space of and it was remote. So it's the same. It's the same.
it works and
Works.
faster.
It works.
And faster. That's the amazing thing is that it
Yeah.
works. But one big thing I would say that is that you have to be open.
Yeah. Sure.
If you're not, well, I don't think I don't think anybody's gonna, book for that kind of if they're not open to it.
I
But
agree. I
but
agree.
I was
They
just
don't have to understand. Like I'm
no,
saying
no.
open. I mean, they don't have to understand exactly what's going on, but they just have to be willing to experience,
Yes.
to be present and experience, and keep the questions till later. Just open, as you say. Yeah, I mean, open doesn't mean, oh, I've read about this, I know about this, I feel I know what she's doing. No, it's just, yeah, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to suspend my disbelief and see what my body actually shows, feels like. And then one session, you're going to know, wow, okay, I had a treatment and it was good. And this changed over the next, day, 2 days, three.
Yes. Because that's one thing is it's like, yes, and again, I'm gonna say there's some people that feel a lot and they may be feeling so many things. And there has been some people that no, I've not felt so much,
That's
but again,
fine.
that's feeling that well-being feeling afterward
Yeah,
that they were feeling.
yeah.
And I always say also, and same thing with in-person session. It's like I often, especially like when I do the in-person, I like to give a pain scale often to things so that
Okay. Yeah.
I act on it. When I remember to do it, I don't. Sometimes that. What's nice about that is that afterward you can
Yeah.
reflect on
That's
it.
some feedback.
Yes, and not just then, but often I would say because, and same thing, also, coming back a little bit with also craniosacral, keeps on working afterward. You're working on nervous system, keeps.
Exactly. I tell people it's not all in one gulp. 2, 3 days, you're going to be seeing changes. Tonight, it could be something, ooh, tomorrow morning, something different. The next day, a little. So, yeah, several days of effect, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sometime it could be maybe on that 4 days that,
No, well, I mean, anytime up to a week, I would
yeah.
feel
Oh,
like,
look at that.
right?
In that
Yeah.
shoulder. I don't feel it anymore. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly that. And sometimes they don't even notice, right? 2, 3 days, and suddenly when you see them the second time, they're like, oh, no, no, the shoulder pain disappeared. And you say, well, how long did that take? They can't even remember. They just know that it's gone. Maybe it was the second day, maybe it was the fourth day. But when you see them 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, yeah, that's gone. Right?
or sometimes they'll say, oh, yeah, that's true. I have that, eh? Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. That
Which is,
last week. Like, yeah, don't
which
remember.
is, which is a good thing, though,
It's great. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, people say that all the time. Oh yeah, that never came back. No, you took care of that the first time. Like, today I'm feeling blah blah blah. They're on to the next. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right. So, hey, I think we've covered hopefully everything.
I think so.
And if
I
ever,
hope people know what Isabel does, how Isabel treats, how she has, and I speak from experience, how if you just leave it in her hands, she will address many, many issues, many of which you don't even know you have or that are contributing to problems that you do have. So just, I think we talked about trust. Trust that these hands and this intuition and this knowledge and experience as a therapist is working for you, right? On many levels. So yeah, jump in. Jump in.
thank you so much. And of course, people, if you guys have more questions, just reach out to me either through my website or by phone, and I will be glad to answer more of your questions. And thank you so
Thank you, Isabel. Enjoy the rest of your day. Always a
you.
pleasure to speak to you.
Yes, and we will talk soon. And we'll talk soon. And yeah, you two have a marvelous
Yeah,
Sunday.
it's kind of sunny here. I think it's supposed to be nice, although we had a cold night last night. But I'm going to go out for a walk. Now that we've done this and I'm feeling energized, I'm going out for a walk.
Thank you so much. And I will see
You're welcome.
you.
Until next time.